Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and today's tutorial will be doing this gorgeous little square. It's called the Mitred Square or the Mitred Square, depends on what country you come from. Okay, I've been told otherwise, so I'll just say in my opinion it's called the Mitred Square. Meter Square. Okay, so for those of you who've been following me over the past few weeks, or the past week or so, I've been doing tutorials using Bendigo Woolen Mills thread. Okay, now the threads that I've been using were leftover dye lots that I can't get anymore. So I've decided to make a few items and then we're going to create something towards the end. But in the meantime, today's tutorial will be about the Mitred Square. Previously, I've done the crochet granny rectangle, cute, huh? Okay, and I've also done the mandala square, upside down, sorry, mandala or crochet granny circle, whatever you want to call it. Okay, gorgeous, loving the colors, loving, love, and of course the basic crochet solid granny square. Okay, so those three items are in tutorials already, so when you get a chance, if you want to go ahead and crochet them, by all means do that. But today we will be doing this gorgeous Mitred square. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, today we are going to be using Bendigo Woolen Mills cotton thread. It is an 8-ply. It calls for a size 4mm hook, but for the purpose of the tutorial today and for consistency, which I'll explain later, I'm going to be using 4.5. 4.5 because my crochet stitching is quite tight and I would like you to see the stitches, so I'm doing them in a size hook up. You will also need your scissors, and yes, you will need your darning needle, weaving needle, whatever you want to call it, sewing needle. Okay, consistency. What I meant by consistency is, over the past few tutorials I've been using Bendigo Woolen Mills to make items. This one is called the crochet solid granny square. Okay, it's one of my favorite squares to make. I love the solid stitch. Okay, the next item we made was the crochet granny circle, which is also known as mandala, and I love making this one too because I love playing with color, and I think the mandala or the crochet granny circle makes your color burst out at you, so that was great as well. I made 2 of those, but only one for the tutorial, of course. And this one here is your crochet granny rectangle in all the same colors. Now the reason I'm doing these items is I don't know yet, so there's no real reason. Only the thing is, this is all I have left of these dye lots and these yarns on this thread, so I can't really use it in large projects, and I didn't know what else to make, so I thought I would do these items for the tutorials. And at the end of all these items, which I think this is the last item I'm going to make, the Mitred square, at the end of this I will be creating something with it, something interesting, something different. Okay, in the meantime, you'll need to know how to do chains for this tutorial, double crochets, slip stitch, and of course the magic loop, magic ring to start off with. Okay, whatever you want to call it, magic circle, magic ring, magic loop. Okay, 3 fingers, pop your thread over those fingers. Now pull the whole thread around and over the top, forming a cross. Okay, this is called the magic ring or magic circle. Let's blow this up a little bit so you can see it. Sound like I'm going to blow up my yarn there. Pop the hook under the thread. Excuse me. Pull the back thread up. Now you need to try and hold on to this circle or ring. Give it a gentle tug, not too much, because you don't want to lose it. Hold on to everything because it can unravel if you let go. So now we're going to chain up 3, which is yarn over hook, pull through the loop once, yarn over hook, pull through the loops twice, yarn over hook, pull through the loop 3 times. That's your chain 3. Now we need to crochet over all of that, this loose thread as well. Okay, so we're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over hook, pop your hook in that ring or circle, and then yarn over hook, pull up a loop. You have to do it gently because this can come undone. yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2, okay? Just give it a bit of a tug so your circle's a bit smaller. Yarn over hook, pop it in there to make another double crochet, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2. So you have done basically 2 double crochets, and all these chain 3s will classify as a double crochet. So you actually have done 3 double crochets. Now you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, okay? And now you're going to double crochet 3. And you're going to do this 2 more times after that. But make sure you're putting it in the loop and not in these bars, in that loop right there. 2, I say that because my previous tutorial, I popped it in the bars and then realised it was all over the place. 3, because I was rushing. Okay. There's no rush. We don't have a plane to catch. Okay, so 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now 3 double crochets in that ring again, or loop. 1, 2, 3. At this stage, it's up to you, but I find closing it a little bit helps, just to give you a little bit, not too much. You still need to get into that loop. Okay, we've got 1 set, 2 set, 3 sets, or cluster sets they're called. 1 cluster, 2 cluster, 3 clusters. So now you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to put another cluster in that chain space, or loop I should say. 1, 2, still holding your threads here, 2, 3. If that thread moves out of place, you could lose the magic of the circle or the magic of the ring. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3 chains. All right, now you've formed your corners. There's 1 corner, 2 corners, 3 corners, and this is going to be your 3rd corner once you slip stitch it. But it might pay for you to actually pull on your loop now and close that circle up, at least just a little bit, so that you can slip stitch it on comfortably. Okay, so now you've got the chain 3 from earlier. You're going to put your hook in the top of that 3rd chain. I don't know if I did that. No, I didn't. Oh, let's try it again. Let's try that again. In the very top of that 3rd chain, there we go. Pull the loop through and pull it through there. Okay, so that's what you have so far. At this stage, we're not going to cut our thread, but we're going to do something that's not often done in crochet unless we're, changing designs. We're going to turn our item over. Okay, usually we keep going up and then around. This time we're going to be turning it over. We're going to chain up 3, 1, you might just pay to tighten that stitch a little bit, 2 and 3. All right, now we are going to put 3 double crochets in there. I'm lying, 2 double crochets in there, because that chain 3 will classify as 1. So 1 and 2, and your chain 3 will classify as 1. Okay, now we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We are going to put 3 double crochets in the same chain space that we just started with. Okay, I'm hoping this is sounding understanding for you, like you're able to understand what I'm saying here. Okay, it's a little bit different than making the normal basic granny square. Okay, so we are going to go to the next loop, the next chain space I should say, and we're going to put 3, 3, 3. So 3 double crochets, 3 chains and 3 double crochets in that space. 2 and 3. There's your 3 double crochets. Now you do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and then you put, oh, I get some thread here, sorry. Then you put your 3 double crochets in there as well. Okay, so far easy, yeah? All right, it's the next round that's a little bit different. Again, it's different. Okay, so we're going to go over to this chain space and do the same. 3, 3, 3. Still easy, yeah? Okay. If you are creating items with our YouTube channel and you want to show them off, by all means visit my Facebook page. The link is in the details down below. Visit the page and, you know, pop on some of your work and just show it off. 1, 2 and 3 chains, and now 3 double crochets, because it's all about inspiration. Crochet is all about inspiration. Crochet and knitting, art in itself, it's all about inspiration. Okay, there you go. Now we pop over to that next corner and we do 3, 3, 3. Pretty basic so far still. 1, whoops, 2 and 3. Chain 1, 2, 3. I had a friend of mine who called this square the Mitred Square rather than the Mitred Square, but I call it a Mitred Square, so it just depends where you're from. But for me it's a Mitred Square. Some people call it mitred, and that's okay too. Okay, that's our last one we're doing at the moment, and I'll show you where we're at. Okay, this is what you have so far. Now this is actually the back of the work, because remember we had it this way and then we turned it. Okay, so that way is the front, and I'll explain it to you later how you can tell the difference, and that's the back. All right, so at this stage all we need to do is slip stitch to the top of that third chain, but when we do we're going to cast off and change colors. Okay, all right, so we're slip stitching at the top of that third chain there. Well, I got that one pretty easy, not like before. Okay, beautiful. Okay, give it a snip, and there you go. And leave it flat for a minute. Move your colour out the way. Didn't play yarn chicken there. I've got plenty of yarn left over with that one. Okay, we're going to use the red now. Now this next row is a little different, okay? We're not going to crochet in the round completely, or in the square, whatever you want to call it. We're going to crochet halfway through, from one side through to the other, okay? Now, we start in a corner, and for those of you who know me would know I don't like to start where I've just finished off a thread. Sometimes it can't be helped, but here it can. So we're going to turn our work over, okay? Put your hook into any corner. Oh, I think I'll put it in this corner here, okay? So it'll go from there to there. That's where this row will go, okay? So you pop your loop on your thread, pop your thread on your hook. I don't want to do this tutorial again. I've had 5 or 6 different takes, and I've used an hour and a half of last night's time to do it, and then I just sort of gave up. So I don't want to do this tutorial again. Okay, all the bloopers I did. All right, so we've pulled up the thread. We're going to chain up 3 again. 1, 2, and 3. All right. And then we are going to put 2 double crochets in the same space, crocheting over that thread, okay? We will weave it in later as well. It's double the strength if you crochet over it and then weave it through. A lot of people just crochet over it and leave it. I think they come undone, but that's just me. Okay, so now we pop that thread at the back, leave it there, and now we put 3 double crochets in the middle space. See, now we've had our corners. Now, because we're growing, we're getting the middle space as well, the middle chain space. So we're going to put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and there's no chains in between. It's just 3 double crochets, and 3. Okay, so you've done your chain 3, 3 double crochets in the corner, 3 on the side. Now we're going to put 3, 3, 3 in here. Remember from before? 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. Okay, it is a basic granny stitch. The only thing that's not basic is where we're putting our stitches, because in a minute it's going to change. Okay, that's why it's called the Mitred Square or the Mitred Square. 1, 2 and 3, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets. Now we're getting to that area where there's that loose thread. Ordinarily I would sew this up or sew it in before I do this round, but I wanted to show you there are other ways of doing this. So you crochet over the thread, and then when we're done we sew the thread back through in different areas, and it gives it extra stability. Okay, so we're going to put in here 3 double crochets. There's your 1, crocheting over the thread, 1, 2, and 3. All right, now pop that thread back. We're only going to put 3 double crochets into this corner, and I'll explain that to you when we're done. We're not going to do our 3 3 3. We're just going to put 3 double crochets this time. And 3. All right, stop there. Now if it helps you, you could take that last double crochet undone, because this is what I want you to do. Don't finish that last stitch. Do a double crochet, because we're going to change our thread in a minute. Oh no, we're not. I'm sorry, my mistake. We're going to keep going. We're going to turn our work. So you've got your 3 double crochets. You've got 3 there, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3 there. Then we turn our work. I almost made you make a mistake. Sorry, guys. Yes, I make mistakes too. I forget the pattern. I have to really think about it sometimes. So we're chaining up 3, 1, 2, and 3. But we're only going to leave those 3 chains there, and we're going to go straight to that next chain space and put in 3 double crochets. That's better. Now it's looking like what I want it to look like. My first attempt at this tutorial was 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, or whatever it was, 5:15, and I did the whole thing wrong. I had to delete the tutorial because I did the pattern wrong. And you're going to put 3 double crochets in your next chain space, because I wasn't focused. And I didn't realise it until I got, 3/4 of the way through, and I, did about an hour and a half worth of taping, and then I had to cancel it, delete it all. Okay, and now we're going to go into that corner and do your 3 3 3. So 1, 2, 3, chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're going to get to the end of this row, to about there. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So you know what we're doing here because we did it on the other side. And then 3 in here, 1, 2, and 3. So what we're going to do is do a double crochet. Remember this chain 3 that we started off with? I might have to get a close up of that so you can see it. We're going to do 1 double crochet in the top of that 3rd chain. A little bit tricky. If you can't see it, it doesn't really matter. Close to it is fine, but it's very tricky, I suppose. Even with the neck size hook up, I'm still quite tight. Okay, there's your double crochet. 1. Okay, this is what you have so far. All right, don't worry about the ends, they will be gone, trust me. All right, so it's, you went that way, line, you went that way, turned, and went back. Okay, so what I want you to do now is pull a loop. No, actually this is what I wanted you to do before. This is another way of changing colours, all right? Undo that last double crochet that we just did. Get halfway through it and stop. So put your hook in, pull your loop through, pull the first 2 loops, and then stop there. We're going to move that out the way, the red. Hold it nice and tightly. You are going to change colours through these last 2 loops. This is how we change colours in crochet. You pop the thread there and you pull it through the last 2 loops on your hook. Yes, that's right. Now you grab 2 ends of your previous colour, give it a tug with your new yarn, or your new colour I should say. You're going to turn your work, holding all these ends, chain up 3, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, I'm using the light blue. You can use whatever colour you like, okay, to change, or medium blue actually, because that's your light blue, that's your red, and this is your medium blue. Now you're going to do what you've been doing all along. You're going to skip these 3 double crochets. Hang on a minute, no you're not. You're going to put, I'm lying, you're going to put 2 double crochets in that chain space. So 2 double crochets in there, 1 and 2. Oops, sorry, my thread's been hard to pull there. Snagging on something. Okay, so that's what you've got so far. Then you go to your next space and you put your 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2 and 3. All right, what I want you to do, so that we're not holding each other up here, that's too far, sorry, go into each space along the sides with 3 double crochet. When you get to that corner there, you put 3, 3, 3, and then you do 3, and then you do 3, and just stop right there for me, and I'll meet you up. All right, so yours truly was getting a little bit too excited and was going to do 2 more rows, but we're not going to do that. We're going to close up this square, okay, because we've done our 4, we've done our 2, and now we're going to do a normal row across. So that's your one side that you've done. Remember I said to stop up to here and then we'll meet you back? Well, just keep going, and in here you're going to put your 3, 3, 3. So 1, 2, 3. I realise we're up to our 3rd colour. I got a little bit excited, sorry. 1, 2, 3, and you do another 3 in there. And this is where it gets a little bit weird, but you still just keep going. 2 and 3, okay? So there's your corner. Now all you have to do is just jump to that next space. I know it's a little bit weird here. That's okay. Just jump into that next space and do 3 double crochets. So it's literally the same as doing a normal granny square now. We're just going in the round, okay? 1 and then another 1 in there. We just jumped into the very next space. Now the reason I didn't cut ends, and if you've cut ends, I'm sorry, is to show you which is the right side and the wrong side in a moment, okay? And especially that very first end, I hope you haven't cut that one. Now in this one here, it's a corner, so you go 3, 3, 3, okay? So 3 double crochets. Oops, don't snag it like I just did. 2 and 3, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets in there as well. Don't forget, lovely people, to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want further tutorials. You need to click that little bell button as well so you can receive the tutorials in your inbox. Now we're going to do 3 in there, 3 in there, and when you get to that area, just stop, okay? So we go 3 double crochets in there. 1 more, 3 in there, Okay, after this one here, we are at our corner where we first started with. Did I just crochet my hair in that? Yes, I did. My apologies there. Give it an extra look. Okay, so we've got 3 in there. So now what we need to do, and it's up to you, I'd rather not crochet over that thread, leave it down. But I would put 3 double crochets in there. So it's, you can crochet over the blue one if you like, or not, it's up to you. So that's 1. A little bit fiddly this section. So 1, 2, and excuse me, 3. The voice is almost gone, people. Okay, with that blue thread, you can actually sew over that little bit to see the red there. Okay, now you want to put it on slip stitch. No, you don't. You don't want to slip stitch yet. You want to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch onto the top of that stitch, that 3rd stitch, which shouldn't be so tight like mine. Okay, so you're slip stitching all the way through. All right, now if you wanted to, you could turn, chain up 3 and go all the way around. I might just do that and have a second round actually. Chain up, no, not chaining up 3 yet, turn first, chain up 3, which is 1, 2, 3, and then put 2 double crochets in there, 1 and 2. Okay, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochets in there. Okay, 1, I'm lying, 3 double crochets in there. Hello, Mary. It's getting late. So there's your 3. So what I want you to do now is go all the way around. Oh, it's still far away, isn't it? Sorry. Keep going all the way around a normal square until you get to here, and then I'll meet you up. All right, if you're anything like me, you would be up to around there. Oops, let's just do this a little bit and get rid of that blur. Okay, so we're going to put 3 double crochets in that last space. And yours truly forgot to cut that red thread before when we attached a blue on, and so it's been dangling off the bottom of my work. Okay, there's your 3rd one. Now all you need to do here is slip stitch at the top of that 3rd chain right there again. You find your top. Mine was a little bit loose this time, not like the last one, the row before, and then you just pull a loop through, cut it, and get ready for some weaving in. Now the mistake I made, I didn't cut that red thread before, and it's been dangling all over the place, so I'll give it a cut now. Okay, so let's move that red out the way, the blue out the way, bring it down. What you should have is this. Now, the threads. Most of your threads should be there. If they're there, you've done it right. Doesn't matter if it's in the front here, you can always put it back. This is your front. Now, the way you tell your front, all right, and to your back, in this particular square, because it's metered, you could get away with using either side, but it does look better this way. Now, the front is, see how you've got your nice look and then your bubbled look, and your nice, bubbled, nice, bubbled. The front is your first row, which is nice, okay? Ordinarily, with the metered square or the mitered square, whatever you want to call it, this row here would have been your last row. But because I wanted it to be similar to this size, I did an extra row, and I probably will need to do another row. There you go. So for what we're going to be creating in the future, okay? So this is where you're at the moment. We're going to show you how to weave in these ends. I'll just show you one of them for now, and then maybe you can do the rest on your own. Now, remember how we crocheted over some of the thread? Okay, we're going to thread our needle. Okay. Okay, and remember how we crocheted over it and it's a little bit loose under there. If we put it back through, we're only going to unravel it. So what we need to do is actually split the yarn underneath it there and then start weaving in and out through the threads under there. Now turn it over and make sure you can't see your needle from here on your red. If you can see your needle on your red, then you're going to have some of that light blue on the front and you don't want that. So all you need to do is pull that through and that's your first one. Okay? Notice how I said your first one, you're going to do it again. Okay? You're going to find another spot. Don't do it far out here or you're going to pull. Okay? Excuse me. It's got to be very close. That thread's got to be really close in there somewhere. Okay? All right. Now before you pull it through, check the front. You can't see the needle. Okay. Pull it through and you're done. That is never going to come undone. Okay? Wash after wash, that won't come undone. Cut it. Not too close to it, but cut it a little bit there. So when you give it a tug, it hides underneath there. It's not going to come out. I will show you quickly how to do that last thread, because that's the one that everybody, excuse me, everybody asks me about. And I know because we've got that little bubble right there, it does look a little bit funny. And even when I do weave it in, it does look a little bit funny. And don't worry too much about it. It's only noticeable when you go right up to the thread and look at it. When you're putting it together in an item, in a piece of work, you can't see that little bubble. Okay, so all you need to do, and here's something that's a little trick, find a spot where it's going to make it look flat. There are times when I do it this side and it works, but in this case, I don't know why, it's better to do it this way. See, it'll start to look flat. So all you need to do, that's your front, right? So you want to pop it through the back. So you find part of your V, these are all V's, see those little V's there? Part of your V, and put it through one of your V's, or half of your V. Whoops, don't snag it like I just did. There we go. Now give it a tug, and it kind of looks a little bit flatter than it does before, or when it did before, sorry. And with that, you need to start weaving in somewhere. Doesn't matter where you want to weave it, but I find it's easier to weave it in under there. Okay, so you're going to, and here's the tricky bit, you're going to split some of this yarn. Now before you do this kind of weaving, make sure your square is perfectly correct. If it's not perfectly correct and you've done this, you can't unravel this. So you can't even see the bump anymore. Okay, you can't unravel this because it's split your yarn, especially with cotton. Once you start splitting cotton, it's not likely that's going to come undone. So we're going to do the same here. We're going to split some more threads right there. Okay. You don't need to look at the front. You can if you want, but because this is blue, you won't be able to tell once it's all woven in. All right, now that you're down here, you can do what you did before. Pop your needle under here and just weave in and out. Here you go, lovely people. Don't forget to visit my madeit.com.au and Etsy stores. I think I may still have my Etsy store open. I'm not sure. I seem to get more traffic from the madeit.com.au stores, and I think it's because, we're going back the other way by the way, it's because it's an Australian-based store and a lot of my clientele is Australian-based, being the fact that we are here in Australia. Okay, now we cut that thread. And the best part about this is you cannot see from the front, you can see just a very slight raise and not much. And from far away, you can't even tell that that is your actual end. All right. So there's tricky ways of doing these things. Okay. Now, off air, weave in all these other ends. If you like, actually, I might just do that now. Just that very first end where we did the magic circle or the magic ring. I might weave that in with you just quickly, only because some people say to me, how do you make sure it's not going to unravel? Because a lot of people say that the magic ring, magic loop, circle, whatever you want to call it, can unravel. I've never had that happen, and the reason is because I'm pedantic and I will weave this end in until it's quite thick, but you've got to be careful not to make it too thick with cotton. Okay, now the way your end is going, don't go back that way yet. We're just going to keep going in the round, so weaving in and out of your, I'm going the wrong way, there's the first three. Now this is the back, remember, so you can do this part. All right, doesn't matter if it shows because it's the same color. Preferably don't let it show. I mean, it won't look professional if it shows. So you really want your work to look nice as well as, you know, the rest of it looking nice. That was pulling through a little bit, so we're going to make it under, there you go. Okay. All right. See how I've gone back in the round, all the way through the round there? And we're going to do one more, and then we're going to go back. Oh, my needle is getting a little bit old. It's collapsing a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now, we're going to go back the other way. This is double the strength. This is not going to come undone. So if people say to you, oh, the magic loop comes undone, and they use that voice too, the Mary voice, just tell them it's because they don't weave in properly, okay? Must weave in properly, which means going through once and then going backwards second time. Even though we've already crocheted over some of these threads, you really should weave them in properly. Give that a snip and just tug it a little bit so it falls into place. That is not going to come undone. And you, my dear people, have completed your metered square with an extra row of double crochet on the round, only because yours truly wants to create something and I want to create it with you guys. So look forward to the next tutorial, because that's going to be our creative tutorial. We are going to make something out of all these little items that we have made, okay, over the past few, I won't say weeks, but I'll say week. Over the past week, we have made quite a few items there, there, and there. This is the last one we made. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Ciao for now.